Everyone says dogs are all the same when it comes to loyalty, but that's not the whole story. Gender quietly shapes behavior in ways most trainers and owners rarely talk about. Some differences are subtle, almost invisible, while others can feel strangely intense once you notice them. And if you've ever felt like your female dog reacts in ways that don't quite match what you've heard about normal dog behavior, you're not imagining it. There are patterns behind those moments, and they reveal something surprisingly powerful about how she sees you. If you're curious to understand her beyond the surface, subscribe and let's keep learning together. Number 1. Extreme maternal instinct and cross-species adoption. What if your female dog's protectiveness isn't just affection, but something far more ancient and powerful? When a mother dog has puppies, something shifts in her completely. Her world narrows, her senses sharpen, and the instinct to nurture doesn't politely limit itself to biology. There have been cases where female dogs have adopted orphaned animals from entirely different species, nursing them as if they were her own. A golden retriever once raised endangered painted dog pups alongside her litter, feeding them the same milk, responding to their cries without hesitation. In another case, a mother dog carried an abandoned human baby to her nest after hearing him cry, tucking him beside her puppies for warmth. This isn't training. It isn't conditioning. It's an instinct so strong that it overrides difference, even species. If your dog has ever hovered over a smaller animal or gently corrected something that wasn't hers, you've seen a glimpse of it. She isn't just being sweet. She's answering something deep inside her that says, protect, gather, keep safe. Number 2. Nesting behavior and phantom pregnancy. Have you ever watched your dog drag blankets into a corner and wondered what she thinks she's building? When a female dog is expecting puppies, her body doesn't just prepare physically. Her mind begins preparing too. She'll gather soft things, pillows, laundry, anything that feels warm, and move them to a quiet place. Sometimes she'll shred them, not out of mischief, but to shape them into something softer, safer. You might even see her pawing at the ground, digging at the yard, trying to carve out a space that feels protected. It can look chaotic from the outside. From her perspective, it's preparation. And sometimes, the strangest part is that she does all of this even when she isn't pregnant. Phantom pregnancies can trigger the same behaviors, the same swollen belly, even the beginnings of milk production. Her body follows a script that her mind believes. She may search for puppies that were never there, restless and confused. It isn't drama. It's biology speaking in a language she doesn't fully understand. Number 3. Hormonal reactivity and protective instincts. It's easy to call her moody when her behavior shifts overnight. But when a female dog moves through her heat cycle, her hormones are doing far more than most owners realize. You might notice she becomes territorial around other female dogs, quicker to snap, or unusually clingy with you. Small irritations can suddenly feel big to her. Sounds sharper. Boundaries tighter. It isn't random. Her body is preparing for possibilities that may never even happen. What's more surprising is that even without giving birth, some females develop strong maternal behaviors. They'll guard a toy like it's fragile, hover over another animal in the house, position themselves between you and what they perceive as a threat. It can look intense, even excessive. But beneath that intensity is an instinct designed to protect something vulnerable. And once you notice how powerfully her internal cycles shape her behavior, you start to see another pattern in how she relates to the world beyond your home. Number 4. Greater trust toward humans, even strangers. You might assume all dogs are equally cautious with people they don't know. But when faced with something confusing or unsolvable, female dogs often reveal a quieter kind of confidence. In situations where a task becomes impossible, both males and females will turn to their owner for help. That part feels predictable. What's less obvious is what happens when the only person present is a stranger. Female dogs are more likely to look to that unfamiliar human for guidance instead of withdrawing. It suggests something subtle about how she views people in general. There's often a broader baseline of trust, a willingness to engage rather than retreat. That doesn't mean she lacks discernment, and individual personalities still matter more than gender ever could. But many female dogs seem more socially open in uncertain moments. And that openness, that readiness to connect, makes another instinct stand out even more clearly when you compare it. Number 5. Lower roaming instinct. Most people assume that if a dog runs off, It's just curiosity pulling them away. But when it comes to mating instincts, the pattern is different. Female dogs in heat release a scent that signals availability, and then they usually stay where they are. They don't roam miles looking for a partner. They wait. It's the males who tend to wander, driven to search, to travel farther than usual in hopes of finding that scent. Because of this, intact male dogs are statistically more likely to run off or escape the yard. Female dogs, even when unspayed, generally don't feel that same urge to go searching. Their biology is built around attracting rather than pursuing. So if your female dog tends to stay close to home, lingering near familiar spaces and people, it isn't just habit. It's part of a deeper pattern of conserving energy and holding ground. And that grounded nature shows up in other ways too, especially when the world suddenly feels loud or unpredictable. Number 6, higher caution and sensitivity to stimuli. Have you noticed how she reacts a split second before anyone else does? A door slams, thunder rolls in the distance, or something unfamiliar appears in the yard, and she's already alert. Female dogs tend to be more cautious with new or startling stimuli. They're often quicker to freeze, to step back, to assess. While males may approach something unfamiliar with bold curiosity, females are more likely to pause and evaluate the risk. That pause can look like nervousness, it can feel like overreacting, but it's often just heightened sensitivity. She's reading the room, scanning for potential danger, deciding whether it's worth engaging. Even distractions pull her focus more easily when the environment feels uncertain. On its own, that caution might seem small. Stacked over time, it shapes how she matures, how she interacts, and even how she expresses strength compared to her male counterparts. Number 7, earlier maturity and lower aggression. It doesn't happen all at once, but one day you realize she isn't as puppyish as she used to be. Female dogs often mature a little earlier than males. The wild bursts of reckless energy soften sooner. The impulsive behaviors taper off. She may still play, still get excited, but there's a steadiness that settles in earlier than you might expect. That earlier maturity can make training feel smoother, like she's simply ready to move on from certain phases. There's also a measurable difference in aggression patterns. Male dogs are far more likely to bite, often driven by territorial disputes or competition that traces back to ancestral behaviors. Female dogs, shaped by different evolutionary pressures, tend to conserve energy rather than escalate conflict. It doesn't mean she's weak. It means her strength shows up differently, less in confrontation, more in restraint. And that quieter resilience carries forward in ways that stretch far beyond behavior alone. Number 8. Longer lifespan and benefits of spaying. You may not think about it now, but she will likely be with you longer than you expect. On average, female dogs tend to live a couple of years longer than males. It's a small number on paper, but in real life, it means extra mornings, extra walks, extra quiet evenings where she rests her head near your feet. When a female dog is spayed, that lifespan can extend even further. Removing the reproductive organs not only prevents pregnancy, it also reduces certain health risks and some hormonally driven behaviors. That choice often feels practical at first. Over time, it becomes emotional. Those additional months, sometimes years, are filled with the same small rituals that define your bond. The way she waits for you, the way she settles when you enter the room. And when you look back at everything, her protectiveness, her caution, her quiet steadiness, you start to realize these weren't random quirks. They were the shape of who she has always been. By now, you might be seeing her through a slightly softer lens. The way she hovers, reacts, or settles beside you isn't overreaction. It's her nature unfolding. The real takeaway isn't that she's different from other dogs, but that her differences are meaningful. And when you hold that perspective, everyday interactions start to feel less confusing and more intimate. Still, there's a question that lingers underneath all of this. What does she do when she feels not just safe, but genuinely happy with her life by your side? That's where we're headed next, and it might reveal more than you expect.